Hello, I'm Matt Schwartz. I am president of the temple. It is November of 2018. It's the 175th anniversary of the temple. And I'm standing here with Dick Frockt, who's a past president of the temple. And we're standing in front of
the Fleischaker Frockt Memorial Meditation Chapel and Memorial Garden.
Right, and this is the, I guess essentially it's been a 13-year process. So Dick, tell me, we're standing here because we just rededicated the chapel out at the temple cemetery. And what was the first thought that you had about this? And tell me when it was.
Well, my mother is buried right over here, and we buried her 13 years ago. But 15 years ago, I'm sorry. And we looked over here, Janet and I, my wife at the time, and this thing was falling apart. The roof was holy, and the windows were out, and it was just a eyesore. And Janet and I thought it would be a nice thing to give a memorial to my mother at the time, Johanna, a lasting memorial. So we were thinking about it at that time. It didn't work. For whatever reason, the board just couldn't figure out how to make this thing work. And then the roof fell in, and y'all had to clean up the roof under city orders, and so it became a little bit more feasible.
Right. So now we fast forward a little bit, and you and I became acquainted, let's say a year and a half or a year ago, something like that.
Right.
And this kind of bubbled up through the cemetery committee. So Jerry Uslander and the entire cemetery committee spent some time working through some design elements and some potential, trying to get it back on track.
And they did. Jerry got the architect involved, and they went through 7 or 8 iterations of what should it look like. Do we want to put the roof back on, or do we want to leave it the way it was? And I think everybody finally agreed that an open-air meditation chapel was what we wanted to do.
So then we honed in on a design. We started chatting about what it would take, and we we looked at some designers with regard to a garden,
right?
And ended up with what will become a beautiful space. Right now it's close to winter, so we don't have all the colors, but we're going to get there in the spring.
But I think it looks terrific, because out here before it was nothing but scrub grass,
right?
And there was nothing here, and now we've put something here, and I think it's going to be quite beautiful come a couple of years when it grows out.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that you did, Dick, and it was just foresight, and so we appreciate that, is not only help fund the restoration, but also established an endowment fund so that we could maintain this for at least 50 years.
Well, when I was president, I'm sure you had the same thing happening to you. We had people coming to the temple saying, "Oh, I want to put up something," and you say, "Well, okay, but will you maintain it?" And the answer was, "Oh, I'll put it up. Let the temple maintain it." And I never thought that worked, because it was like the Frankels in 1906. They built a building, they gave a little bit of money, but it wasn't enough to maintain it for more than 10 or 12 years. And so I wanted to make sure that at least it lasted for some period of time, and then presumably 50 years from now, your counterpart and my counterpart then can have another fundraiser and do something else.
So here we sit November 11th, and we got a beautiful sunny day. We had a wonderful rededication. So I want to thank you and your entire family for what you've done for the temple community and for the cemetery. It'll be a beautiful space.
It will be, and the temple means so much to me. It has since I joined in 1972, and it still means a lot.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.